Page 13, Progress, or Progress, depending on what country you're from. On this page, they're opening up a whole can of worms here. So let's just take this slow and easy and careful. At the top, they're introducing some new symbols for you to know from now on, forever and ever and ever and ever. You see, for every note, there is a corresponding rest. And a rest is the same as a note, except instead of playing a note, you're quiet, you're resting. In music theory, according to the time signature, every measure must have a certain number of counts in it. In 4/4 time, that's the time signature we've been using, every measure must have 4 counts in it. And before, we haven't done that. I haven't really talked about it. They can't really do that too well until you get to the rests. You got to have rests. Because you're not always playing a note. Sometimes you're quiet. And the quietness is just as important as the notes in music. They give the symbols at the top, the whole rest, the half rest, and the quarter rest. And just to make it even more fun, the whole rest and the half rest are identical. They're boxes. The only difference is where they are in the staff. Now, they're both in the same space, but you'll find the whole rest hangs below a line and the half rest sits above a line. And that's the only difference. And you'll come up with your own system for remembering which is which. I don't care however you do it. I do it by thinking a whole rest is usually 4 counts and a half rest is just half as much. So a whole rest is heavier, so it hangs below the line, and a half rest is lighter, so it sits above the line. And that's how I remember which is which. And then the quarter rest is that squiggly looking thing. I think it kind of looks like a bird diving down. And other people do. It helps to have an imagination in music. So it's whatever it takes you to remember that squiggly looking thing is a quarter rest. Because we have other symbols that are squiggly lines, but they don't look like this. Mm-hmm. So counting wise, it's exactly the same as the note, except you're quiet. Now, on top of the rest, they're giving you a new position for the left hand. Let's talk about this. You see, in piano, the hands could be anywhere. They can move around. So far, we've been here, and we haven't moved around. We got enough to do just to learn these notes. And I'm hoping by now you know the names of these notes in the music. And you certainly know the names of all the keys on the keyboard. So you shouldn't need the stickers anymore. So at this point, I would encourage you, go take your stickers off if you've got them on the keyboard. You need to know the names of these notes. If you don't, maybe you need to go back and start the book again and go through all the lessons again and review everything again and drill yourself on the names of the notes and the names of the keys. It's really important because it's going to get a lot more involved as we go through the book. Because now the left hand's moving. It's going somewhere else. So it's not going to be here. And they give examples in the middle. It could be here or here or here. It could be anywhere, wherever it needs to be. Right hand can do it too. Yeah, it's whatever the music needs. Well, in this piece, you're starting out at the beginning of the piece. The right hand is here, thumb. And then in the third measure, you see the thumb is on a B. Well, that moves the hand here. You just lift up and move. So it's here. The second line, now your thumb is on an A. It's here. You move down again, here. And then the last 2 measures, your thumb is here. You're here. So we've moved several times in the thumb and the left hand. Right hand's now moving. It's just staying right where it is. For now, it's going to behave itself. It's the left hand we got to deal with. Well, this means you need to know, we know the names of the notes in the music, I hope, these, we've been using them. Now you need to know these 3 in addition to that. So memorize these notes in the music. You see the last 2 measures here? That's a G. You've had the G before, you've been having it. So it's a G and then an F and then an E, D, C. It just goes down the alphabet. But you need to memorize the names of those notes in the music as soon as you can. You drill yourself on them. Say the note and play it. That drill I was, just take your time and go through that. But wait, there's more. In addition to all this mess going on, now we're actually holding notes down in both hands at the same time. This is the first time we've done it. In the past, it's been one hand or the other. Well, not now. Look at the second measure here. In the left hand, you have a whole note. You're going to hold that down for 4 counts. Well, while you're holding that down, the right hand has notes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm holding that down so I've got notes in both hands down at the same time. So the first 2 measures, 2, 3, 4, 1. See? So now we're doing that. Now when you go to move the hand around, there's different techniques we use for moving the hands. Sometimes you just lift up and move. You want to get to where eventually, not now, but eventually you want to get to where you can go up or down one key without looking, where you can feel one key. You don't need to do it now. It's something we need to work on, and I'll bring it up again and again. For this piece, I want to use a different technique. Here, I'm starting in this position. Third measure, I want to be in this position here. So what I'm going to do is, rather than move the whole hand, I'm simply going to scrunch up a little bit. You scrunch up or you spread out. Scrunch up, spread out. Isn't that fun? Okay, you just scrunch up a little bit. Leave your little finger where it is. Scrunch up and put your thumb on that. So now you're sort of in this position temporarily. And then once you play that, immediately relax and move the rest of the hand down. So I've just moved the thumb first and then the hand, rather than everything. So here, thumb first and then the hand. Thumb first and then the hand. Thumb first and then the hand. I can go up to thumb first, hand, thumb first, hand, thumb first, hand. It's one of the techniques we use for moving because it allows us to move around without looking at the keyboard. We can feel our way around here. I'm going to ask you to use that technique here. So in the second measure, you're here. And then as you play that, get down here and get ready to go. Just move your thumb down and ready. And then the moment you play that, you relax the hand. Same thing, scrunch it. So each time I'm just scrunching up and relaxing. I want to do that, and I'm asking you to do. I could just lift up and move. That's a different technique. I would prefer you start working on this technique. This will really come in handy. So let's look this over. It's 2 lines long, treble and bass clef, 4/4 time signature. We got quarter notes, whole notes, half notes, and now we got the rests. Now for the first time, we can actually do it legal. You see, I said before, every measure's got to have a certain number of counts in it. Well, look at the first measure. The bottom staff has 4 quarter notes. That's 4 counts. Okay. The top staff doesn't have any notes. Before, they would just leave it empty, which is technically not correct. But now they can put in a whole rest, because that's the same as 4 quarter notes, same as a whole note. So now the top staff also has 4 counts. And the second measure, the top staff has a quarter rest for the first beat. Rest, 2, 3, 4. So the top staff has 4 counts in it. So now every measure in both staves throughout this piece has 4 counts in it. So this is the first one we've had that's technically correct. Don't copy me, please. You take it at your speed. Go through, learn it, no hesitations, whatever, and try and get to where you can play this without looking at the keyboard eventually. Once you're comfortable with it, sort of, then play along with me and let's check to make sure you have the right notes and the right rhythm. So I'm going to give us 4 counts, 1, 2, ready, go, and let's play it together very slowly. 1, 2, ready, go.